I love you guys.
Welcome to the Torg Stories Podcast. It's October 26th, 2025, 5 days out from Halloween. Today, Ann and I are discussing the film Weapons. It's a supernatural mystery horror film. It came out August 8th, 2025. And I sent you a list of 9 films to pick from. Why did you pick this one?
Were there really 9? That's quite a bit. I don't remember it being 9. I picked 2, actually. If you recall, I said Psycho or Weapons. The reason I picked Weapons is because I've almost watched it the second time a couple of times. I haven't done it until I did for the show. So I already had interest in watching it again. And the rest of those movies you listed, I'd seen a lot of them. I didn't like a lot of them. So that was like the main thrust.
I almost saw, so I tried to send you films where I thought there was a little bit to talk about from several different angles. So, Psycho, we could obviously talk about. Hitchcock. I was in Wilmington and with Izzy, my daughter, who wants to major in filmmaking, and there was an old theater showing Psycho. So we thought about going, and we just didn't get done with what we were doing in time to go. Why don't you try to go 5 words or less on all the movies I sent you. I'll call out the movie, and then you tell me why it was a no. You ready?
Okay. All right.
All right. Secret Window.
I've seen it. I don't recall liking it. Johnny Depp, not a fan. Certainly not any longer. So all those reasons, and I know you have like a love for it. So it was like, I don't want to get one of these. He loves it and I hate it kind of things.
One of those, I read the Stephen King story. That's already a lot to talk about. I'm a big fan of Johnny Depp. And then John Turturro's in it too. He plays an imaginary guy that you don't know is imaginary until the end. Okay, The Cabin in the Woods.
I've seen it. I don't remember it very well. Chris Hemsworth, I think, is in it, and there was a lot of blood.
Right.
That's all that I remember. But I don't remember particularly being scared or anything.
Oh, a lot of blood?
I feel like there was, that I recall.
I'm not in for a ton of blood. 1408?
I don't know that one. Yeah.
Oh, I thought by telling you that John Cusack was in it, you would automatically exit off.
Right, for sure. Also, I just never even heard of it. For me, not to even heard of it to me means, wow, it's like really under the radar.
I've been seeing a lot of it on social media lately. John Cusack goes and stays in this hotel that's supposedly haunted. That's a Stephen King story. I really like it.
Okay.
All right. I thought you might pick It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I've seen it. I've seen it many times.
I guess I thought it was one of your favorites. I thought it was like a classic that you loved.
No, I have a great love for Snoopy and Snoopy Peanuts gang. But sometimes the thing that annoys me about the Peanuts gang, which is kind of the central theme of it, is just Charlie Brown getting put one over on Charlie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like this Great Pumpkin never stuck to me like the Christmas one did. So,
all right, 3 more. A Quiet Place, starring Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
I've seen it. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I've seen The Ring 2, or not The Ring 2. I'm sorry, Quiet Place 2. And I don't think it was as good. And then I think there was another sequel with different actors, and it was okay. But the point was, I saw them and I liked the first one, but I didn't love it. So I don't want to see it again.
I probably shouldn't see A Quiet Place. I haven't seen it. I kind of wanted to see it after.
No, I think you should see it. It's a decent movie. It's a good movie.
Okay. I watched 3 movies yesterday. I can't even conceive when I did that last.
Oh, that is a lot. I don't do that either.
I watched Weapons again, which I've now seen twice, which we're discussing today. Then we watched A House of Dynamite, which is a new #1 Netflix movie. By the way, exact same structure as Weapons.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that one. I don't get Netflix.
And then we watched The Woman in Cabin 10.
It seems familiar, but I don't remember.
Also, it was we had been talking about Charlotte was over and everybody was kind of sleepy and it was 9:30 and I was done with the day. I was ready to get in bed and read, but you feel extra compelled. Happy 20th birthday to Charlotte today, by the way.
Yeah, 20 years.
So
into
you
second decade, third
when
decade, I
Charlotte's
guess.
home, we feel compelled to like
Stay up a little bit.
seize every minute. So Charlotte was working on her Microsoft homework, which she complains about a lot. It's like, Excel, etc. So she likes to have a movie on. So we put it on, and The Woman in Cabin 10 was good. Okay. And then you accidentally said The Ring, which was another one of my suggestions, starring Naomi Watts, directed by Gore Verbinski.
I saw The Ring when it came out. I think I remember being kind of scared and stuff, but again, it didn't stick with me. It's not, so that's why I didn't pick it again. It's
And then the
not, I didn't
last
love it.
one I suggested was Zombieland.
Right, which I'm not sure I've seen. I feel like I've seen, and Woody Harrelson, it doesn't appeal to me.
I watched the first 15 minutes because it's on Max, and I was kind of glad that we didn't pick that one.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Megan hated it. I might still slip a little in on the treadmill this week, being Halloween week, but I'm probably done with Zombieland.
Yeah. No zombies. We had some
Right.
kind of a zombie feel in the weapons, so.
So here we go into weapons. Yes, let's not forget to talk about. I don't think they're zombies, but let's talk about whether or not they are zombies later. So, Anne, set up just the premise of the film. Don't go too deep on this. Just like the first 15 minutes, what's happening?
Right, the premise of the film is laid out by a narrator. We have a little girl narrator. One thing I did want to ask you is how old do you think these kids are?
Okay, so already I have like three
I'm
questions.
sure they said it, but I missed it.
I think, well, I know the kid that played the main kid. I forget his name, but I'll give it to you later because I got it in my notes down here. I think he's 8 or 9, and Wikipedia didn't even know how old they were. So what are you, a second or third grader? I think they're second or third graders.
When I look at it, I think second or third grade. I think you're right. Yeah, because I don't think older than that, but yet they
No.
can't be younger than this either. So his name is Carrie Christopher. Anyway, by the way, Alex. So anyway, the
So when you
premise.
when you
Oh,
ask that, boy, we're failing on the premise.
I know.
Let's just try to like concisely say the premise. So if you haven't seen it, you can stay with us.
Okay, the premise is a teacher goes to her whatever grade small kid classroom one day, and there's only one kid in there out of I'm not sure how many there were. There's an exact number,
18.
18 kids. So only one kid is there, and nobody knows where they've been. They check out the video cameras. They seem to all have left at 2:16 in the morning, kind of their free will, but looking like they're on a mission. And so nobody knows where they went. And so we're kind of in the aftermath a month later. How's the town? How's the school? How's the teacher dealing with it?
17 kids disappear. Where did they go? What happened? That's the premise.
That's the premise. It's a good
And then
premise.
I think the other thing, you know what? And I'm glad you threw that in there. It's a really good premise.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, when have we seen it? I mean, I don't remember any stories I've read or seen where this is what's happened.
Right. It immediately makes me think of things like aliens or, I bet it might have, you probably could find it if you read like every comic book ever written. I'm sure there is
Okay.
a premise probably like that. But yeah, to me, it strikes a mystery. What's the mystery here?
I'd like to ask, let's see, Kreger. I think the writer, Zach Kreger, and director, I'd like to say, what was the seed of the kids disappearing? I think he might say something like Sandy Hook, where a shooter comes in and like erases half of a class. I think maybe that might be where the seed came from.
It might. I mean, I read some interviews by him, and to me, he said this is the first thing I thought of kids, but he didn't say where he got it. So maybe he likes to think it sprang originally into his mind. But there certainly might be a background of, hey, I've seen things like this happen in
Yeah. I
school
mean,
shootings.
even I think even if you feel like you have an original idea, you can talk about like the spark of when it
Where
came.
it could come from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we will say right here that we know that Kreger was grieving the death of his friend, who he was in a skit comedy troupe with, and he was, I think, drinking and fell off a balcony in Los Angeles and died. So the writing was a big part of his grieving process, which is, how he came to the subject. And then I sort of secondarily wondered, well, why 17 kids disappearing? And then, and I think the other thing, as you set up the film, would be how this film is structured. What would you say about that?
the structured point of views, right? Different point of views.
Yeah.
I would say, retelling of the same events somewhat, or the same time period somewhat, sometimes with overlapping events for a number of characters. I don't think you really know it's happening right away. It's not because I don't have a title
Good.
card, I
Yeah.
don't
Great.
think, that says Justine. They just start with the teacher, whose name is Justine. They kind of start with her. With a little kid narrating it. So it's not like they're narrating themselves. So anyway, it's from her point of view, and you realize they're going through different characters when they go on to the next point of view.
So let's talk about this little kid narrator for a second. I'll ask you. So a girl who sounds like she could be 8 or 9 is telling us about what happened. She opens the film narrating. She closes the film narrating. Who is this, do you think?
I just assumed it's another kid in the school. That's third grade. I'm in the fourth grade, and I see it happen. So it's like a peer somewhat. Or there's
Yeah.
multiple people of the same grade. They have
And
multiple
she, we
classes. Yeah.
don't, I didn't
We
pick
don't know her. I don't think we see her. Nothing like
what
that.
time frame. So it's a looking back story from her. It's a framed, the beginning and the end is framed by this little girl voice. And she's telling this, how far in the future do you think?
Good point. I have no idea. Yeah. I would say at least several years.
I mean, I think there's a ton interesting to talk about in this film. That's great. It's an incredible accomplishment by Kreger, but it's also what a jerk I am. It falls short of a masterpiece. We just because we don't know stuff like that. We get kind of this like a little bit vague, ungrounded little girl. Hasn't she grown up a little bit since then? Boxing this story. So it's there's just some things like that that don't like go all
Well,
the
I
way.
do definitely think there are some plot holes too.
Yeah.
Like, oh gosh, I think the police would have investigated these parents a little bit more than they did. They would actually have to meet and talk with them and say, oh, let me talk to your doctor about the stroke that you had, things like that.
And we both
And also, I think if I was this teacher, I would be out of here if I could. I'd be like, I got to get out of this town before someone shoots me or something, right?
You obviously, I mean, we both recommend this movie because as soon as you walked out of the theater, you texted me and said, I just saw Weapons. You need to see it. You probably won't.
Right. Yeah. It didn't seem like kind of vibe movie that you like.
Hmm.
But yes, I immediately liked the movie. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, maybe second or maybe first. I don't know, but
And
probably
I would say it's got a lot in common with The Secret Window, which you don't like, in that it's, or that you haven't seen maybe, in that
I have seen it. Yeah.
oh yeah, it's just, it, I guess this is a little bit, this is more fully a horror movie than Secret Window. I guess there's no point into taking much time comparing it to Secret Window. Let's see. So I talked about the little girl.
Certainly
Yeah.
since I don't hardly remember it at all.
You brought this up too. When did you realize, oh, it's the same time period? Do you
What's
remember?
the same time period?
Um, I would,
I don't get the question.
you already kind of said this. I think there's 6 chapters. I'll look again. Um, I think the film tells pretty much the same time period again, 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 again from 6 different perspectives. So as it leaves the first perspective, which is from Julia Garner, the actress, she's a school teacher. When it leaves the school teacher's perspective and goes on to the next one, I was a little bit confused because I didn't realize we had backed up in time to the beginning again. When did it kind of hit you? Do you remember? Maybe you don't remember.
Well, I think probably the second one is Archer, which is a man who's grieving his son, who was one of the missing kids. So it's from his POV, and I mean, I definitely realized it when he was at the same school meeting as Justine was, but it was
Yeah.
from his perspective. I think that probably was the first point that you realize it's overlapping. He does do some other things. At first that you maybe don't realize. He's sleeping in his son's room. He messes up a work thing. He meets with the police chief and talks to him. So it's a school meeting where you're like, oh, it's different. It's just different POVs from different characters.
I got my moment. I'm going to tell you the chapters first because I pulled those up in front of me. So first we get a little bit of movie. I didn't nail down whether it was 10 minutes or whatever it was. We get a little movie, then we get a black title card, Justine. So we got teacher's point of view first. We got chapter 2, Archer. That's the dad of one of the missing kids. We get chapter 3, Paul. He is a police officer who has previously been romantically involved with the teacher. We get chapter 4, James is a drug addict. And then we get chapter 5, Marcus, he's the principal. Then we get chapter 6, Alex, he's the little kid, the one little kid that didn't go missing. So those are the 6 chapters. Does that make you want to say anything, Ann?
No, I did. I would say one little lull in the movie was kind of like maybe there's one too many chapter. I don't know. At the end, like, do I need the kids chapter? I guess you kind of do, but it did get a little bit like, okay, I'm ready to
I
move on.
read
But
that he also cut a chapter.
really, okay, well, that's probably smart.
Who's
But
who's
I guess all the chapters we see are pretty essential to see.
whose chapter do you think he cut?
Great, great. I don't know. I'd have to think of who is even available.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a really minor character like the police chief, but
It
would you do
was
that? Yeah.
it was Gladys the witch.
Oh, I can see that.
So
Sure.
it
Yeah.
showed her
That'd
backstory.
be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he said it was pretty obvious that the movie was better without that. And kudos to him
He
because
should do a whole pre-sequel with
oh,
Gladys,
nice.
right?
There you go.
20 years before or something.
You can have that, Zach Kreger. Is it Zach? Is
Yeah,
that
it's all yours.
his name?
Yeah, it's Zach.
Okay, so here's what I knew. So I didn't realize. I mean, I think there's clues before, but it really hit me in chapter 3. Paul is a police officer. He's previously been romantically involved with the teacher. And there's a scene where someone has spray painted the word witch on the teacher's car. And there's a police officer looking at the car, and she sees Paul, who we don't know, and she gives him a little wave, and he waves back. And then later in the movie, in chapter 3, the third segment, which is Paul's chapter, we see Paul wave at her, and then I'm like, and then it was like, oh, okay. So these events are overlapping.
Oh, it took you that long.
You actually, the
No
moment you
offense.
named was actually after the moment I named, I thought.
I don't think so because Archer comes first. So
Yeah.
When Archer's at the meeting with Justine, that's when you know it's happening to me.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the chapters, not every event, but I'm going to touch on a major event. So now we're going to go a little bit more through the plot. I don't think we'll be, we're 10 minutes away from serious spoilers, but after that, if you haven't seen Weapons and you don't want to know these things going in, probably watch it and come
Right.
back.
You probably shouldn't even listen to any of this. Yeah.
So Justine, these kids disappear, and the community starts accusing Justine of knowing things that she's not sharing. Um, she follows the little kid around, the one little kid who is left in her room. She realizes that his house is covered in newspapers. She really aggressively investigates the backyard and peers through the windows, and she sees what appear to be his parents just sitting in a chair. She ends up hooking up with her ex-boyfriend, Paul, who is a police officer. A woman attacks her so the woman that Paul is with attacks her in a liquor store. So that's kind of what we get in chapter 1. And would you have anything to add to that first part of the movie from the teacher's perspective?
I think the main thing that struck me was, of course, that she has a major alcohol problem. She's making her first stop after a very uncomfortable meeting with the parents at the school was to a liquor store, right? To get not just one bottle of vodka, but a couple of bottles of vodka. And it had some scary classic core that you're kind of your first scary movie moment when she's in her house, the door is getting knocked on. I don't know if there's anything more alarming in the world than having the door knocked on in this day and age. Whenever you hear it, you're like frozen, like, I don't want to get this door. Who could possibly be at the door? And of course, she's being harassed. And I'll give her credit. I would never, she is much more forward than
Do
me.
you give her credit or do you ding her for her dumb?
I kind of give her some credit though too. If someone was knocking on my door, would I walk out the door and scream? I probably wouldn't, or yell at them for doing it. Would I Or would I just be sitting quiet as a mouse in my room and being like, please leave, please leave, please leave? Yeah, you don't want to give her too much credit for following a kid around, but at the same time, it's like she's trying to get real answers. She's obviously a pretty flawed human being, but she's trying to actually figure out what is the answer of this mystery, you know. And
Her
people are kind of painting
flaws,
her as the problem, so maybe that's part of it too. She
I
needs to
think,
kind of clear her name.
yeah, I guess if I felt like the whole town hated me and I was in danger, getting really drunk wouldn't be one of the things I would do. I
Well,
would,
if you're not she's a previous alcoholic though. It's not like
yeah.
she just became an alcoholic
How do
here.
you know she's a previous alcoholic?
Because they talk about her work history before, how she had a DUI, how she got fired from her old job. So I think there were kind of red flags in her past. So, you know,
Because
and
I
she's
read,
not making the best decisions. She's having sex with a guy who's married and is a fellow alcoholic. You know, she's not making great decisions here either.
yeah, but as they said on Friends, she was told that Paul was on a break.
Right, but even if he was on a break, is it a great idea to get with
And
this
are they
guy?
married? I don't think are they
Yes,
married?
that they were married for
Oh,
sure.
I didn't think they
Yeah,
were married.
because
I
his
knew they were.
father-in-law is the police chief.
I
I
took
thought they were married, but I guess it's
Yeah,
not that
I thought
important.
they were a couple trying to get pregnant. But right,
We're married, yeah.
I can't remember if I saw a wedding ring or not. Um, yeah, so I read a lot that said she became a relapsed alcoholic, and I didn't think that the story did that work. It certainly alluded to some things, but the problems were, I think a lot of people could get a DUI and not be an alcoholic. And then I think,
Right, but that coupled with the what we're watching right
and
here, to me
she
screams
slept with a
alcoholic.
coworker at school, it sounded like.
Right. She's making some questionable
I mean,
decisions, right?
it would not take me long to name 10
People
couples I know who
right.
met because they worked together at a school. So
Well, I think you're
that's like
supposed to maybe be thinking there's some
maybe they had an
kind of
affair.
inappropriate.
Yeah, slept with someone
Yeah,
who
exactly. I mean,
was
we just
married
saw a
to some,
CEO have to quit his job because he got caught at the
and
Coldplay
then,
concert. So,
she gave a student a hug and gave a student a ride. Those are things I've done.
right, exactly. And when you see her be a teacher kind of later in the stories, you see that she seems like a normal teacher, a kind teacher who's worried about her kids and so forth, despite her personal life problems, if you
Yeah,
will.
and we'll probably come back to a lot of this stuff. I'm trying to move a little bit with some pace through the story. So Archer is played by
Josh Brolin, yeah.
Brolin, yeah.
I always say Brolin, I'm sorry.
Brolin, like yeah.
Josh Brolin,
So are
yes.
you a Josh Brolin fan?
I'm a real fan of his father, James Brolin, who used to be on the
Hmm.
show Hotel. And I used to really like that show. And he's now married, of course, to Barbara Streisand, James Brolin.
Oh,
But
didn't know
yeah,
that.
I think Josh Brolin's a good actor. It's not like I'm a super fan, but he's a good actor. I don't turn away when I see him in a role.
I guess he's in the Avengers or something.
He is in the Avengers. He plays like the main evil guy. He's painted
Yeah.
like blue or something. Yeah, I've seen it.
I love No Country for Old Men, and he's great in that.
Right. Yeah,
All
so
right.
stupid.
So what's so stupid?
He was so stupid in that movie. But yes.
He was right.
Don't return back. Just take
I would love to do No Country for Old Men someday. Also because I like that book, and I like to talk about books made in the movie. He was in the Goonies.
He was in the Goonies. He was the older, cooler teenager in the
That's
Goonies.
what Megan
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
And we should have maybe said the teacher's played by Julia Garner. She won 3 Emmys for Ozark. She's married to Mark Foster, who's in Foster the People, a band I like.
And my favorite thing about her, she's a Silver Surfer.
She's a what?
The Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four.
Oh, I don't watch those movies.
Yeah, I love the monotone delivery of her lines. They're
Okay, so
great.
In the Josh Brolin chapter, um, he's sleeping in his son's bed. The marriage, understandably, doesn't seem to be going well since their kid disappeared. He has ring camera footage of his kid running out the door. He puts pressure on the police chief. I'll pause for a second. What do you want to say about Archer and his section?
He also puts he has a real focus here, right? He's focused on I'm getting my son back. I'm messing up at work because I'm not focusing on work. My wife and I are having a hard time because I'm not focused on that. My whole goal is where is my son? And I'll do anything for that.
And my
Uh,
kid, one of my kids goes missing. When do I next work at Appalachian State University?
yeah, I don't know. It's a great
I
question.
don't know. If I go missing, let's say 3 days, Bill's gone. He didn't come home. His truck is still at the high school. Or what are you doing? Are you
I
just
guess I'd come for a couple of weeks and be
you do?
like, let's really think about what we're doing here and
Okay.
try to get this investigated. But after a month or something, what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure that right away you would come. So it sounds like you would come immediately and start looking for
Yeah,
me.
I'd come give Megan a hand. I'm sure she would be overwhelmed. So I'd be their support.
I
And
mean,
plus my
it's
mom
true.
would have to be taken care of. So yeah,
Yeah. All right. Okay,
I'd be
keep
there.
going. You're talking about Josh Brolin, Archer.
Yes, Josh Brolin Archer. So anyway, he's messing up at work. He's using door paint to write witch on the side of the teacher. So he's got some pressure on the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
He's speaking at the or whatever you want to call it, meeting, the come together meeting, and basically standing up and talking back to the teacher, basically saying, you know something, lady, and you got to tell us what it is. And
Yep.
yes, he rings the doorbells. He for the teacher, he writes witch. Uh, and he's trying to find the mystery, right? So he starts thinking about watching them on cam, figuring out where are all the kids going, draw some straight lines on a map. Another thing where I was like, good God, the police wouldn't have done this right away. I mean, it's like the first thing you do is be like, where are they going? Let's try to look at some
I
marks
thought
and
so that's when it takes off a little bit for me. And I could see where it would take, 2 days, 15 days until the plan hatches. But so he ends up with the idea. He looks at all these ring cameras. Actually, I think he only ends up with two. Some
with
people say,
two. Yeah,
well, let's even before we get to that, Archer's his name. Archer could improve on his presentation skills at people's doorways.
for sure he could. Yeah, but it wasn't horrible. I didn't think. I mean, I could. It was very believable. This man who's very desperate. It wasn't like he was really rude to the woman. He just went over her head with the husband, which got a big laugh in the theater when I watched it. It was pretty funny. They all went because you do a quick cut to him sitting at the computer, showing the guy the cam footage. So it had some humorous moments
Oh,
like that.
wait,
But yeah,
wait.
Archer is a guy in desperate straits.
What's Archer's kid's name?
Uh, I don't know, Bill. Marcus?
No,
No,
that's the
Marcus
principal.
is the other guy. Yeah.
Alex. Alex. Oh, that's
Okay.
hard. Maybe it's easy. They're both
It's
A's.
very generic. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm Archer, Ann, and let's say I'm coming up to your doorway.
Right.
Um,
As
hey,
a fellow, I recognize you as a fellow person who
Ann,
lost their
I'm,
child.
Ann, I'm Archer. Of course, I know who you are. So now you already know my kid's gone.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think my next sentence is I've got this idea. I'm trying to figure out what direction the kids were running. I've marked when my kid was running. Could I check your footage and try to figure out what angle he was running? Like that would be
Sure, but to think that everybody's going to behave in the best manner
yeah.
possible is not what human beings do, right?
No, it's what I mean, I like to think it's what I do, and I like to think it's what I teach the most at App State.
Yeah, it probably is what you would do. I don't
Yeah.
think
It
I
like
certainly
ma
don't see you as an archer type,
it
personally.
really matters what you say first. Okay, so the big shift happens when he sees the teacher at the gas station and he pulls in to confront her. Um, and Marcus, the principal, runs up to try to bite the teacher. Or no, she's not gonna bite him actually. He's gonna attack and kill her, right?
Yeah, it's no biting involved. Choking, I think, seems to be the main way. Basically, I like how it's set up too. They're kind of arguing. They're both pushing back against each other, her and Archer. And out of the corner of her eye, she sees a figure running in a very weird motion with the hands straight back. Um, and she recognizes Marcus and she says, Marcus? And the next thing you know, he jumps her and tries to kill her. And Archer steps in and tries to help her.
So the teacher doesn't know this, but you and I know that Marcus is running exactly like the little kids ran.
Right. We know. Yeah. And I also found it strange. Wouldn't everybody know how these kids were running? I feel like it could be a secret, I guess, for the police investigation, but also might be something you put out there and be like, anybody got any thoughts on why they were running like this?
Yeah.
Right,
No one would
right.
have known though until
Right. In the movie, no one would have known. But we know that, hey, he's running just like those kids ran out their door.
so chapter 3, Paul is a police officer. He's with a woman, they're trying to get pregnant. He's a recovered alcoholic. Um, his father-in-law or girlfriend-in-law is the chief of police. It's revealed almost immediately in Paul's section. I think he's on the phone with his girlfriend. We'll call her. We'll say wife. I'm gonna
We'll
agree.
say wife, I think.
I think
I mean,
you're
are you
right.
doing this all for a kid like this if you're not married? Some are, sure, but I feel like in this world,
It seems like they wouldn't be married because he was like, we're not happening right now. Um,
I
unless,
guess the teacher would be like, "Oh, you're officially separated. You're getting
yeah,
divorced." That's
I,
what she's
I
thinking in her
feel,
head.
yeah, I think they were living together. I don't know. Now I want to go look at his hand and see if he has on a wedding ring. But anyway, it's revealed to us immediately that he is very much with this woman as this chapter starts, even though he told the teacher they aren't happening right now.
Right. And you're getting the vibe that he's feeling like she's a nag,
Yeah.
and he's not responding well to her at all. He almost seems like he loathes her, actually. So, uh,
He seems to be someone ready to get out of the relationship.
right, for sure. And she does seem like a nag, of course. I would agree with him
And
on that.
well, she seems like a nag, but she also
She's got reasons. He's a recovering alcoholic.
he
Yeah.
probably should have went to a meeting that night.
Right. Yeah. Probably should have.
I mean, because he hasn't even gotten a text yet from his ex, the teacher. He hasn't had a rough day yet. She's encouraging him to go to a meeting, and he's
Right, but maybe he wouldn't have done all those things if she didn't nag him and get him in a bad mood, right?
yeah.
She nags him.
Now I
He's
will
pissed off
say
about that, and so he's kind of ready to be this jerk police officer
he
out
has
there.
made a mess. If I if I'm a teacher and a coach at a school, or even now, I'm not going to use a specific example because it would be gross. But if I was dating the principal's daughter, as a teacher, that's pretty messy.
Right, yeah, that's pretty messy.
If all of
Yeah.
a sudden we're not going to be together, that's pretty messy.
Right, yeah. I
And
think maybe even messier. I don't know, with the police. I don't know. It
I think
seems
it is
even
messier.
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the chief of police is different than the
Your
principal.
principal. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, he doesn't seem excited that she's coming home. Let's see. I'm sorry, this is terrible.
Well,
Uh,
let's go through his day, right? What else does he do? So he's kind of in a bad mood after the phone call. He goes out in his little patrol car. He happens to look right and he sees a guy trying to break in through a warehouse. And that guy, we learn later, his name is James. And he does a little police chase, trying to chase James. Once he gets James, he asks James if, hey, you got any needles in your pocket, which is a standard question they ask.
hey,
Uh,
yeah, before you get to the needles, two things. It's been revealed that it's been 30 days since the kids disappeared. That helped some things make more sense to me because some of the things that people were doing and the teacher was doing, um, if it had only been 5 days, I didn't get it. Like if the dad of the missing kid is at work ordering the wrong door paint and it's only been 5 days, I couldn't understand it. But 30 days, I could understand a little bit. And then Paul, the police officer, he is the nicest police officer I've ever seen depicted as he makes this arrest. I mean, he's very concerned about, he has to chase this guy down and tackle him. He's worried if he's hurt. Are you okay? He's so nice.
right, he's nice until he's not nice, right? Uh,
So nice until he's not nice. Oh my
he
God.
reaches in the pocket. He gets stabbed by a needle, which, yes, would be upsetting, but his immediate reaction is to wallop the guy, punch him in the face on the side of the head, and the guy drops immediately. Paul goes in and basically looks at his finger, wraps it up, and he's definitely an overreactor. I mean, I get it could be really bad, but he's like really freaking out about it. Winds up his hand and then sees, oh, this is all being videoed, of course. My dash
Wait. Let's
cam.
talk about that a little bit. Shoot the first part. Oh, I know. So one of Paul's problems is he snaps.
He snaps. He's
So
impulse
he's
control.
he's
It's
like
very
a
poor.
really, really nice guy. He's following all the rules, um, but he snaps. So that's like
Right. Well, we
not
can also talk we'll talk, remind me again, I'll talk about some impulse control he has a little bit later. He
yeah, wait.
snaps.
So right, that's right. Hold on a minute. So also, and I looked this up. I It was higher than I thought. 1 in 8 intravenous drug users in the United States are HIV positive.
Right. Oh, I can see
One in
that. Yeah.
eight. 5 out of 10 are either have hepatitis or HIV. And in some community populations, so like insert name of city, that percentage is 95%.
It's a lot. So yeah, there's stuff to be fearful. Can't you pat down the pocket first and feel the needles? I don't know why you have to shove your hand in the pocket to get them. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I would think there's a procedural way to avoid getting stabbed in the finger
Right.
with a
Yeah.
needle.
Yeah. You just don't trust the guys telling you something. Um,
No way.
lots of guys would be like, "No, I don't have a
And
gun,"
then
but
it's
yet
funny
you pat
that,
them down. Right.
and of course, it's crazy on the other end to think, I'm telling you nothing's in my pockets, but you're going to find out in 30 seconds. So
Right.
why?
Yeah. Well, they're in a
Right.
different state.
Okay,
Yeah, for
keep
sure.
going.
So he unplugs the camera a little too late, right? It's already on the camera. He comes out and he says, "Look, guy, I'm going to let you go. We're just going to forget this happens." And, James is like, "Sure, whatever." And he's got a big bruise on his eye and he runs off. And our police officer goes back to the police station. And he tells his father-in-law, which I was kind of surprised. He told his father-in-law
Good
like
job.
right
He
away.
he he comes clean to his father-in-law and to his wife, even though I think it's his girlfriend. He comes clean in those instances pretty good, I think.
Right. Yeah. Maybe he just knows he can't hide it. He's a bad liar or whatever. Because really, to his wife, he had a bad. There was no way he
That
didn't
was
hide
bad.
it very
I
well.
could see
Yeah.
where people would panic in that moment right there. But
Right.
he
For sure.
does, yeah. So he fails in the first 20 seconds, which means now he's got to tell her.
Right. So anyway, he tells the police chief, and the police chief says, "Look, that hard drive's going to sit there for 30 days. If this guy doesn't bring a complaint, there'll be no reason to look at your hard drive, and it'll get taped over, and it'll be no good deal." So basically, he's like, oh, and when he had James go away, he said, "If I see you around, don't let me see you around." Basically, it's a threat. Just
Mhm.
get away from me. Which, hey, police, we live in this little town. You might see me around. What do you want me to do? Right?
The fact that, I mean, sure, is it that easy to unplug the dash cam? Do they just walk around unplugging
They
dash?
can unplug dash cams.
It
Yeah.
seems
How could
like
it be possible to be harder though? You'd have to put a
it
lock
seems
on it or
it
something.
seems like every time the dash cam's been unplugged, we must assume the worst.
Right. We'll look into why, maybe. Yeah,
Hey,
for
yeah, we're
sure.
very transparent until we want to unplug this dash cam.
I'll at least say it's really a thing you see on dramatic TV shows. So I don't know if it's real or not. You are seeing them unplug the
So
body cam as
when
well.
I ask you later what social issues are touched on, I think policing is.
Sure, a little bit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's a big focus. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's touched on.
Okay, so then we see Paul sleeping with the teacher. I think it's possible he wore protection, maybe.
Sure. Who cares? Yeah,
Well,
sure.
because he might be HIV positive or have hepatitis.
Right. Yeah, I just don't
I
think
I
that's the
I think
focus.
to me it what to me drug addiction, whether it's drugs or meth or whatever it is, to me addiction is one of the two main issues. And to think that you were stabbed with a needle, it might be HIV, it might have HIV now. I don't know how long it takes to manifest. I think it does take a little longer than that. I thought it was pretty thoughtless to if you're just like, okay, and now I'm going to sleep with this person, this ex, after I got jammed with a needle today. That seems like a really on purpose, horrible, morally corrupt decision to me.
Right. I do feel like many men would do that though. So I think it's very
No
realistic that it would
women would do
happen.
that.
There would probably be women that would do that as
So I
well.
just think
Yes.
it tells a lot about your character whether or not,
Sure, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And of course he had been drinking a lot.
Right. And my point about his impulse control is, he meets her at the bar, which of course you shouldn't meet her at the bar at all, but he does meet her at the bar. and he's kind of lecturing her about drinking. He's ordering a Coke. But guess what? His impulse control, next thing you
No.
know, he's drunk and he's having sex with her after he kind of entered the building saying he wasn't going to do those things, even though once he entered the building, it's kind of like, well, what are you doing then? Right.
Mhm.
So,
I think it's probably something a lot of people can identify with.
oh, for sure. Yeah.
Whether
Maybe
it's,
in the back of your mind, you know you're going to do it and you're trying to tell yourself you're not, but you go through the actions that
I
prelude
mean,
up to it. So,
my version is trying not to eat after dinner and then eating a pint of of Ben and Jerry's. Or,
no,
you
excuse
know,
me.
Anne's
That
like,
was the very thing I was thinking about with eating. Like,
I
oh, I'm
just
not
like,
going to eat that. Yeah.
I'm trying not to eat after, and yeah, it happened. And I'll probably have some more birthday cake today before the day's over.
Right. I mean, you just know it exists and it's sitting in your kitchen. So, yeah.
All right. And so his girlfriend comes home early.
His wife. Yeah.
I said Paul really sucks at lying. He does an okay job of coming clean to her. I thought he did a really good job of doing that. And then I think, I think that chapter ends with the addict showing up again at the station and him making the assumption that he's come to report police brutality, but that we find out later that's not why he's coming. But that's how and then he is just blows it
Right.
with
Paul
rage.
basically sees James, the addict, a block and a half across the street from the police station. Really, I think just walking by the police station, not going to the police station. And he immediately screams like a madman, "What did I tell you? What did I tell you?" And off he goes. And that's the end.
All right, so now we're on to James. James is the drug addict. Pretty funny, I thought.
James, the funniest part of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
He reminds me of what's the Kevin Smith movie?
Clerks. Yeah.
Silent Bob. He sort of gives off that kind of vibe to me.
Yes. I think it was Jason Houston or something like
Jay and
that.
Silent Bob.
Right.
Yeah,
James is played by Austin Abrams. Don't know him,
me either.
but he does have some credits, I think. So yeah, we're on the point of view of James. James is a drug addict. James' sole purpose in life, get more drugs. And how do you get more drugs? Sometimes you got to need money. And how do you get money? Well, the only way James can get money is to steal things. So
Hey, this movie immediately changed something about my life that's something's been happening in my life for about 35 years and it no longer happens.
lock your car doors.
Yes,
Is
never I never lock my car door. Starting in high school, I never lock my car door. I do not lock my car doors. And this guy James, he's on the phone trying to hustle money from family for drugs. He's walking down the streets just pulling every single car door, and now I lock my car doors.
Right. I've always locked my car doors. I'm very untrustful. And I got my car broken into once before. So
Where was that?
that was on the Monon Trail. I want to say in
Yeah.
Carmel,
Yeah.
Indiana. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So right, he just wants to get high. I think the big moment comes when he burglarizes. So I have in my notes he burglarizes the witch's house. To this point, we don't know we don't think there's a real witch, right?
Right. We think it's Alex's house. He's going to
So
Alex's house to rob.
what do we know when he burglarizes Alex's house? To remind you, Alex is the one remaining kid in the class of 18. What do you know about this house when he burglarizes it?
Well, the reason he burglarizes it is because there's newspapers in the driveway. I don't know what year this is supposed to be, where you're getting a bunch of newspapers in the driveway, but he's got newspapers in the driveway. The windows are taped up, it looks like, with foil. So that's why he burglarizes it. We
No
know
one's
a
home,
little
he
bit.
thinks.
Pardon me?
You think he thinks no one's home?
No one's home. This is an
Okay.
empty house. And of
Start.
course, we've seen Justine before also peer through, and Justine saw two people sitting on the couch. Another jump back scare moment, right?
What are
in the
you
movie.
thinking at this moment? Those two are sitting on the couch. What's going on? You just probably wonder what's going on.
Right. And I mean, she does what she can do, right? She pushes for
Yeah.
a meeting between the principal and the parents. But yeah, you'd be like, do I call the police? The parents look paralyzed in there. So yeah, for sure. But James doesn't know this. And so he just climbs up in a comic manner through the back up to the second floor window. makes as loud as noise as possible, breaking through the window, and starts, what do you call it when you go through the house? Canvass the house?
Ransacking it. He's ran.
Yeah, ransack the house. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. It's a bummer.
It is a bummer.
What does that laugh? Ransacks the house. What do you look for in the house? Basically electronics. Also have had my house ransacked
Oh, and
before in Brownsburg, Indiana. Both robberies happening in Indiana, supposedly a safe Republican stronghold of safety.
ooh, a little
Never
shot.
been robbed here in LA, but we'll hope that stays true because I could easily get shot here in LA too.
He takes off a pillowcase and just starts filling it up.
Starts filling it up. He did take some silverware, and I thought, is the silverware really silver now? I doubt it. But yeah, he takes silverware, he takes DVDs. Another funny moment, he picks up Willow. Oh, Willow.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Oh, you
Great.
didn't see that?
No.
He goes to the DVDs, he picks up one.
It was really dark in there.
It says Willow, and he goes, Willow. As in,
I
hey,
wonder
good
why they
choice.
picked that. So in the middle of that, and he turns around, and the one kid who's left in the class, his parents are sitting on the couch like zombies, not like real zombies, but in a coma. They're like in stupors. There you go. They're in,
Right, a stupor. They're not responding to you. They're not making movement, but their eyes are open.
does
They
this
seem
scare
alive.
James off?
It doesn't scare him off as
No.
much as you normally would think, and it just goes to show he's all he really cares about is
He's
getting
so
the
desperate.
score.
It's
He
good for
just,
that. Yeah.
yeah, he needs his money. He needs the money because he needs those drugs. So he even gets up real close to them, which, boy, I think I would just run out of the place. But yeah, he gets up close to them, looks at them, and says, "Hey, I'm going on." He starts loading up, and then he hears some noises in the basement. Right,
Yeah.
here's some noises. I can't quite remember exactly how he gets out of there now.
Well, so he goes down there. He finds the
Oh, he
kid.
does go down a little bit.
He
Yes,
goes
that's
down the
right.
stairs
Yes.
and finds the kids. Um, and then I think oh no, and I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. This is a little hole. He comes up from finding all the kids in the basement, and for some reason now the parents get up off the couch and try to get him.
Right, in a very passive way, right? They're not like trying to kill him. They're just kind of walking around. So yeah,
So
you could be like, why is this happening? Yeah.
that whole scene when James is burglarizing this house. We don't know what's going on in there. Um, that's all very tense. He finds all the kids in the basement. They're in the same stupors as the parents are. He runs out of the house into the woods. And now we have immediately, right on top of this really tense scene, we have another really tense scene where he sees the witch in the woods. And this would be a moment to say, at least the dad has also had dreams where there's this really old looking lady with a white face and way, way too much makeup on, including bright red
Kind
lipstick.
of like clownish makeup, right? A
Yeah.
little
Right.
Bozo the Clownish. She has a
Kind of
red
like what you
wig,
might expect from late 70s, early 80s Florida retirement community, but hyped
but
up
even more. Yeah, even
60%.
more. And also Justine did have a dream about her too. And she saw the clown as well. And she saw the clown above her in bed, where the light was, if you remember that. And Archer also sees it in a dream, right? He goes to his son's bed, his son's there, but then his son turns into Gladys. Is that correct?
Yeah, what are you thinking about this witch in the dreams at this point in the film?
I'm unsure about her. Did we have, I think we've also saw her at the end of Justine's, or have we seen that yet, where she's in the car asleep? I think that was one of the most frightening moments to
No,
me.
so right. So when she's in the car asleep, right, you probably
Yeah, does that
remember
happen in a later episode or?
it's the wife who comes out and snips her hair.
Right. Basically, she is stalking the boy, saying what's going on in this house, and she falls asleep. It's the middle of the night. She's been there all day drinking vodka out of her 7-Eleven mega cup or whatever. Um, and she falls asleep, and it's dark, and you see the house door open slowly, and it's blank for a while. Then the woman comes out walking stiffly, right? Not in a
Yep.
hurry, but stiffly.
Yep.
And seems to have, she has stuff in her hand, or am I imagining that?
I think she has
Like a knife
scissors.
in her hand? Yeah, okay, she has her scissors in her hand. She walks up to the door, right? The car door and looks in it. That's scary. Everybody in the theater, my theater was like, a little bit scared.
Yeah,
Then you hear the car door open, scariest thing in the world. But yet she reaches over and cuts her hair and leaves. It's not like she stabs her, which maybe you kind of thought could happen, right?
I
So
definitely did.
that was a great scene, one of the best scenes I thought, scary wise.
It was good. I have my scariest scene. I'll get to that later. So
So we've
he,
been seeing her, but we don't know
yeah.
really who she is.
So now this is the first time I think that we see her somewhere else. James, the addict, sees her in the woods. He sprints to his tent and he's telling himself, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. And he closes the tent. And then to me, one of the most incredible scenes in the movie happens after that.
Yeah, a pretty funny scene as well, right?
You can tell
Uh,
it.
James is scared. He grabs a handful of hypodermic needles in his hand, needles poking out, of course, to protect himself. Someone walks very slowly, almost too slowly to me, up to the tent, unzips the tent extremely slow. And James does his lunge and it hits the guy's face. And who is it? It's our friend Paul the cop. Gets a bunch more hypodermic needles in his
This
face,
is
lets out a scream.
multiple needles stabbed in the
Yeah, you've got
face.
a lot of needles. I would be like, I feel like those needles were look clean to me, like they were brand new needles. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets stabbed in the face now, like with 5 needles. Would be very scary to happen. Maybe cop, you should announce yourself before you unzip the thing. Just say, police, please get out of here. I'm not putting my
Yeah.
face into this tent. So that was a pretty funny scene. I want to mention though about Gladys. We've seen her twice in dreams, and we've seen her once pop up in the forests, which I guess wasn't a dream, right? But a little bit weird. So she pops in the forest with
Okay,
James. That's
let's
kind of the first time we see her in life, I
we
guess,
we can talk
right?
about then. I think I don't know what's going on at that point. I don't even have a good guess in the movie what's going on. I don't
Right,
think
but you don't think that's a dream. You think he sees her actually.
yep. And now
Yes.
now that I know what I know, I think she has the ability to be a vision in people's dreams or out. So I
Right.
don't think her body was in the woods there. Do you?
It could have been though,
Could have been.
because
Yeah.
he was running from her house, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. No, he
So
was.
she could have been like, I got to find out about this guy, and I got to get something of his off his body, right? If she wants to control him, I don't know. So
So to finish chapter 4, James's chapter, the addict convinces the police officer he stabbed in the face that the kids are in the house. Um, and so they go to the house. Paul, the cop, goes in the house. I don't know. 4 to 6 hours pass. It's dark. The guy's in the back of the car with no food or water. Oh, that would be a
it'd
nightmare.
be frightening to be locked in a car with handcuffs on too. Yeah.
That would really be bad. Could you not hang out of there in 6
I
hours?
think it would be pretty hard to get out. Yeah.
I do too. Oh,
I do think maybe the police would be tracking their guys and what they're doing more
yes.
often than that.
You would think that you wouldn't sit in that car for 24 hours.
Right. Yeah. They'd be like, "Where's
So
where's officer whatever? Have you heard from him?"
so so
Go
Paul
ahead.
comes running out of this house with the newspapers on it where the one kid who was left in the classroom lives, and he grabs the addicted guy, the drug addict guy, and he drags him into the house, and that's the end of the chapter.
Right. I would like to go back and remind everyone or tell everyone that when James got out of the house and he had his belongings that he was going to sell, or the stolen items that he was going to
Oh, good.
sell,
Thank you.
he went to the pawn shop. And while they're negotiating, he happens to see a poster for reward for the kids. So he wasn't even going to do anything about the fact that he found a bunch of kids. His addiction is so strong. All he cares about is the drugs. The only reason he's caring about trying to figure out what these kids were doing is because he realizes, oh my gosh, I could get a reward. So I do suddenly care about his phone call to police was also pretty funny, right? That was a pretty funny part of the movie.
It was. What does tweaking mean? Do you know?
It just means you're high on the drug. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
so he
tweaking.
was he
They
was
say that a lot about people in the streets. You'll see they're just standing and just heads down. They're tweaking.
oh, so he was like quadruple animated in this on the
Right, like at the highest point of high, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
that
as
would
he
be
was
how
on
I
the
describe
phone
it. But
talking
I don't
about
know. I'm a 52-year-old woman who's never done drugs like that. So,
same. So now, not a woman. So we have to, and this did not bother me in this movie. It bothered me in House of Dynamite on Netflix. Now we got to start over again, and chapter 5. Let's back up and do it again.
right. And this is with Marcus, the principal.
Marcus.
Pretty interesting guy.
So Marcus, do you know? Did you know him from before?
Yes, Benedict Wong. He was in the doctor. Oh, what's the doctor guy from Marvel called? He's a doctor.
Mm.
Doctor Strange. He was in Doctor Strange. He's very good. He's a very well-known character actor, Benedict Wong.
I
I don't
had
know the other guy.
I had just rewatched The Martian, and he's the leader of one of the teams in The Martian.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's in, I bet. I bet his credits are very long.
He was great. He's one of the highlights for
He's
me,
great.
right?
He's funny.
Is he
He
the
really,
highlight? What's the highlight of the movie? That's a hard question.
no, it's not. That's not my highlight. But he's very, I think they're all good. They just work really in good unison. But where do we find him? The opening was in the grocery store. Yes, he's on the phone with Justine,
He is in the grocery store,
with his partner,
and
his
so
husband.
I mean, whatever it means for me to say, he didn't seem gay as the principal, and then he's a lot more gay out of school with his partner. Is that what kind of
Yeah, perhaps he masks himself a little bit in
he's
school.
got on
Yeah.
his Mickey Mouse shirt and he's yeah, more effeminate. So he's on a call. The teacher is on the phone with Marcus and forcing his hand to do a wellness check on the kid because of what she observed when she went over there and snuck around the
Went
house.
over his house, the foil in the house. There's the parents are sitting there like nothing. Yeah. So little does she know her hair got snipped. But yes, she's
You know, I
begging him
think
to do it.
maybe this
Or she says she'll call CPS. I think she said she would even call CPS, Child Protection Services. So she's
really
almost going to get
nicely
the authorities involved.
really nicely done by the teacher.
Right, right. She
I
forced his
mean,
hand to
yeah,
actually
has to do
investigate.
it. I mean, you cannot not do that.
Right.
If
And what is Marcus getting at this store? He seems to be getting a lot of junk food, right? He's getting
yeah,
like Fruity
right.
Pebbles. He's a grown man getting Fruity Pebbles
Mhm.
cereal. So that, I think we can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah.
The obvious thing maybe that we haven't mentioned that's really great, and so take something like Pulp Fiction, nonlinear chapter titles like Weapons, but very, very different from Weapons. We're pretty much watching the same time period over and over. That's not what's happening in Pulp Fiction. And so what happens in Weapons is every time we watch it again, we learn like 3 to 5 more things that illuminate
Right.
what we've already seen.
Yeah.
And it's done incredibly. I read somewhere that he didn't know the end. I can't imagine writing this when I don't know how it ends.
Right. Like I said, I think he started the story with, hey, there's 20, there's 18 kids and they're
I would
missing.
need, because I would need to know what's the story as I do all the different perspectives.
Right. Well, something's got to start though.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. I think I would be tempted to go, okay, what happened? 17 kids disappeared. This is why they disappeared. And then this happens and then this happens. And now I'm going to start over. And first I'm going to do the teacher's perspective. That's kind of the way I would work. And he obviously did not work that way.
Yeah, I guess so.
All of our brains, they work differently.
Right. One of my favorite things, and I'm sure everybody's favorite thing about those kind of stories is when you see the other characters show up in another storyline and you're like, oh, there they are. And oh, that's part of that. It's like those old choose your own adventure books in the back day or something. I don't know.
So this movie is 2 hours and 8 minutes long. We have 54 minutes to go. It's the first time that we see the witch in person.
Right. We see the one. Wait, I wanted to comment on one thing about
Yep.
seeing the other characters. This time, when I watched it the second time, I noticed like James in the teacher storyline, James shows up outside the liquor store begging for change, right?
Yeah.
Begging for money, basically. So that was the first time I noticed that. Oh, James is there at the store,
Yeah.
asking for money. So Yeah, I love that kind of thing.
That
So
was
yeah,
fun.
we see Gladys in the first. They introduce Gladys in a pretty funny way, right? So he calls. He thinks he's going to meet the parents of Alex at his little office, and he of course has an assistant, and she is an old school like secretary. It's funny. It's like this is a modern story, but yet everybody was like a little bit old fashioned or something.
Mhm.
Like that secretary. That secretary would have existed when we were kids in school, but not now. I don't think you would see that exact look on a secretary
You mean the way she was
or
dressed?
a assistant. Yeah, and her hair. She was like an old school from our times.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Grandma.
I know
Yeah.
how our secretaries look. They're pretty perky, friendly, more fashionable. But I think what I really realized was the effect is that the secretary is so flustered by Gladys.
Right. The secretary's freaked out. Like, wait till you see this lady.
Right,
And in
exactly.
fact, when she walks in, I'm gonna sit here and watch your reaction to her, and what happens because she walks in looking like a clown, right? Like a clown lady. She reminds me of somebody, I probably shouldn't say this, but she kind of reminds me of an old friend of mine's grandmother who would
Mm.
wear like Dolly Parton wigs and stuff and pancake makeup. She wasn't as extreme as this woman, but she was out
I
there.
mean, I don't
So
think
they exist kind of,
you're
yeah.
not. I don't think you're supposed to say freak show anymore. But
She's
like
a bit of a freak show,
a
yeah.
carnival of traveling, whatever do they have whatever they had in those shows.
Carney, yeah.
Yeah, she seems like she would fit into that.
Right. She had an extreme look, and everybody here is trying to be polite and act like she looks
And
normal,
she
I guess.
says she's the older sister of Alex's mom, and they're sick, and she has come to help take care of Alex.
Right. She says that he has a stroke. He had a stroke. She never really says what's wrong with the woman. But I guess the guy turns out to be more manageable. Like she can present him in public more because later on she does take him to a meeting. Because basically the principal is like, look, I really need to talk to his parents. It's not really, you're not his legal guardian, so I really can't talk to you. I need to talk to his parents. And he kind of has a subtle threat, or I'll have to, get the authorities, get CPS involved. And she's like, oh, no, we don't want that. So she leaves, she goes home. Um,
Yeah,
and, he probably thinks that's that. But
yeah. So she comes into the school, and then the next thing that happens is that she comes over to the principal's house and knocks on his door.
right. First off, she says that the both parents have a touch of consumption,
Yeah.
which of course is a word that we and just like the principal said, oh, that's like old timey name. What is that? Is that like having tuberculosis?
Tuberculosis. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
because we don't use the word consumption anymore.
We don't.
So and it kind of tells you how old the lady is, right? She's living here.
And that's such a good point that I didn't think about. This woman is 500
Right,
years
she's
old.
hundreds of years
Great.
old.
Yeah. Good
She's
job.
using terms that don't really work here. So yeah, she shows up at his house, but what do we see before she shows up at his house? We see he's eating like, I don't know, 8 hot
7.
dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, he's eating tons of hot dogs, tons of more junk food. Which is something I just thought was weird the first time I watched it. It was just
Yeah.
like, whatever, is for a joke, I guess. I
It
didn't put
is.
more thought to it.
But
But I think you can put more thought to it later. Yeah.
you've heard the reason why now.
Right. I have heard the reason why.
Yeah. So
He's
he
addicted to junk food, right? So he's
oh
like,
no, I mean
oh,
I would say it doesn't fit for this reason. His friend who founded the sketch comedy group, Whitest Kids You Know, um, they were on what's that film festival channel? Uh,
Comedy Channel? I don't know what
it's
you
in New
mean.
York
Yeah.
City that I used to watch it. I might come back to it later.
IFC maybe?
So yes, that was it. So this group, Whitest Kids You Know, they had like 5 seasons of television. Um, and so he was on the show with the guy who died. And there's a skit where his friend is playing the doctor in the skit. And it sort of comes out by the end of the skit that this guy eats 7 hot dogs a day on average. And he has no idea that this is a lot of hot dogs. So it's funny. So it's really just and then he's working on this. He wrote this script trying to deal with the grief of his great friend passing away at a young age. And so it's there almost purely for an homage, shout out to his passed away friend, and that's why it kind of doesn't fit.
No, to me, the hot dogs are there for that reason, but he could have
Oh, that's what I'm
chose.
saying. That's what
Yeah,
the
I'm
the whole.
saying he's kind of saying, hey, this guy is addicted to junk food. He's
Mm,
out there eating Fruity Pebbles. Now he's eating 7 hot dogs and he's eating a bunch of other crap. So he also, in a way, suffers an addiction. I mean, that might be more giving him more credit than he
yeah,
deserves, but I've seen that float around. For me, when I watched it, it was just like a laugh. Oh, he's eating like 7 hot dogs. That's crazy. And what are they watching on TV? They're
great.
watching a show about a bug getting taken over by another bug, right? It's I don't know if you'd say that was a parasite, but it was something like that. It was like a bug taking
No,
over.
they use the word parasite in.
Well, they used that with the Justine, but I don't think they used that here. They
They
called it
do.
something, but I'm not thinking
No,
of the
the
name.
television show uses the word parasites.
Okay. Well,
Um,
he's watching that, which again is kind of a weird thing to be watching, but
yeah.
maybe they would watch it. Yeah.
So I didn't get it. What it what's supposed to happen, and this is where, in grad school, in graduate writing school, I would think I needed a kind of light touch on some symbolism. And, my teacher, Alan G, said something to the effect of, Bill, you're going to have to hammer these people in the head with a bat 5 times before they even start to think about this symbolism. So I think the writer is trying to hammer the symbolism. We don't even know this, Gladys is a witch, and Gladys somehow draws energy and life off of the people under her spell. So she's a parasite drawing life from all these kids she's got in the basement. And so this is supposed to be telling us about that, this weird television show they're watching. But I certainly didn't even think about it until the second time I watched the movie. And I had read some interviews with the author.
Right. I don't think I thought about the first time, although I did think this is weird. I did write down, though, they did also say, I'm sure they probably did call it a parasite, but they also said the bugs are be taken by a fungus. So a fungus is overcoming the
I mean,
bugs.
and then the next thing that happens in the television show is fruiting. They fruit, and I couldn't. I was like, does the fruiting connect to the story, or is that just a random thing in there?
Yeah, I don't know.
So they
That's maybe a little
probably
too deep for
shot
me.
that little weird scene they were watching. They probably made that, right?
I would think so, yeah, maybe. Or
Yeah.
maybe they could buy old stock footage real cheap.
So I think really when you see something in a story and you're like, this is weird, it's probably there for a really specific reason.
Right. If
And
they're a decent
if
filmmaker.
it's
Yeah.
not there for a specific reason, then it's not very good.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So the doorbell rings, Marcus answers it, and it's Gladys. It's our little clown witch at the door, basically saying, and his partner also appears over his shoulder. And Gladys is basically saying, hey, I missed a bus. I had to walk. Basically, I went through a lot to get here. Can you please let me in? Because he's resistant, hey, this is my off day, whatever. He's basically saying, I don't want to talk to you right now. But she's like going on, and his partner's like, sure, you can have a drink because she asked for a drink of water. Yes, you can have a drink of water. Come in. So they invite the witch
Hey,
into their house.
so we're in our, one thing that kind of messed with me coming off of Sinners, there's a lot here to suggest zombies, but they aren't zombies.
Right. Look at the lighting, what it's doing to me. It's just not good, is it?
Because I was thinking,
I
don't
mean, they're
invite it.
not technically zombies, but they look like zombies.
So there's
They have a
no,
blankness in their expression. They have no will or control of their own. And they're not even really, we don't think, mentally aware of what they're doing. It's not like they're trapped in their head saying,
but
oh my
I'm
God, I don't want to
saying,
do this.
I was thinking of, because this was a big thing in Sinners, don't invite him in, don't invite him in. So Marcus's partner invites him in, and I think, oh no, that's terrible. It doesn't really matter in this
Yeah, it
movie.
doesn't really matter here for
And there's
sure. Yeah.
no problem if one of these zombies bites you, that's not what does it to you.
Right. And in Sinners, they're not zombies, they're vampires.
Oh
So
yeah, they're vampires.
there's a
Sure.
difference between a vampire and a zombie.
For sure.
Zombies, it doesn't matter if you invite them or not. They're coming
So with
mindlessly.
vampires and zombies, though, you don't want to get bit by either one of those.
No, you don't.
You're
Basically, they
converted.
turn you into themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, you're converted. So there's an overlap in the
I
circles.
think I'd probably want to be a vampire rather than a
Yeah,
zombie,
I
but maybe
agree.
not. Who knows?
I
Yeah.
think so.
You still have your consciousness, I guess. So they're in the kitchen. They're getting her a drink. She's making funny compliments about their house. he's getting her a drink, and she says, "Oh, actually, can we make it a bowl? I want
Yeah.
a bowl of water." And he's like, "Okay." It's pretty weird. So they give her a bowl of water, and she starts talking to them simply while she does a little work, right?
And this witch is Amy Madigan, who is the wife in Field of Dreams.
Right. I personally did not recognize her. I talked to somebody at my workplace, a friend, and they were like, "Oh, I knew right away it was Amy Madigan." And I thought, "Boy, I didn't." And
I knew
I am
I
familiar with her.
when she appeared, I was like, "Oh my God, that's the wife from Field of Dreams."
Oh no, I was like, "Who is that?" In fact, I was like, I got to look her up because she was really good. And then it was like, "Oh, Amy Madigan." Of course, now I can see it, but yeah, I did not think of it.
So
Uh,
now like I said, we are probably an hour and 15, an hour and 20 in, and the movie takes a big turn right here.
right, it's kind of explaining itself, basically,
So tell
who's
me,
behind all this.
I think this would be a good moment for you to explain, how does the witch's magic work?
It seems to work. She needs to have some kind of possession of them, whether it's a piece of hair or anything, an object that someone owned. She needs to have it in her hand. She has to have a bowl of water underneath her, I think, to stop it. So anyway, she has a twig off, I guess, that special tree that she had.
Yeah, the tree sadly looks like the special, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it. It starts with a Y. It kind of looks like the special Norwegian tree. I take exception that you're using something that
All
looks like
right,
the
using it for
magic
evil, I
Norwegian.
guess.
So
Yeah.
she has this, yeah, really sharp branches on this tree and she pulls it off. Keep going.
Yeah, which we don't really know yet. She just has to she has a
Right.
twig in her hand. She wraps up, she actually cut the guy's hair, right? Cut the principal's hair. And of course, that's or actually, she cut the other guy's hair, right? The
No,
boyfriend's
so
hair, too.
she has a ribbon. She has a ribbon from the principal, and
Oh, right.
she get that first, and then she walked over and cut the guy's hair from the partner, and he starts freaking out.
Right, because the principal's like, "Oh my God, you got one of my ribbons." And so she's like wrapping it around the stick, and then she breaks the stick. And when she breaks the stick, the principal becomes a killer, basically. Kills, chokes his partner, has gross, I don't know if you want to call it vomit or just black tar coming
Boy,
out from
yeah.
its
I
mouth.
like black tar. That's what
Yeah,
I like.
brown black tar oozing from its mouth, or exploding, actually, not oozing, and chokes his partner, then promptly gets up.
Wait.
Um,
So to this in this movie, the worst thing we've seen so far is a guy get stabbed with two needles in the face.
is it? Okay, yeah.
Marcus headbutts his partner's skull to a flat pulp, and we watch it. So I thought I was watching a pretty, and by the way, I did not even know this was a horror movie when I watched it the first time. It was called Weapons. I didn't even know what the weapons were. I had no idea what the story was. And now I'm watching it, and it seems like a pretty normal movie. And then I watch someone get headbutted to a flat pulp, and it's like, oh, this is a different movie than I thought it was.
Right, right. Well, I
I
feel like
thought
it was a little
the
bit
first,
like that with Sinners for me too. I was like, oh,
yes,
this is
very
like a
similar. I thought
this is
we
a
might
horror movie.
get. Now I'm going to get in trouble. I don't want to get the witches after me, but I thought we were watching a movie that might have a grounded in reality explanation for why these 17 kids went missing. But no, I was in a supernatural
Right, yeah.
horror, and I didn't know I was in that genre. Which
Right. So
maybe
anyway,
made it better. I might have made it better.
the witch continued. I guess she must pull out the teacher's hair or something, wraps it around the twig as well, and boom, off goes the principal um, to chase after Justine, right? So we've seen him run towards Justine at the gas station before, so now we know where that came from.
Yeah. So it ends. Brolin, who is Archer, who's the kid's dad. Here comes the name of the movie. The dad. So they're talking about the fact that Marcus, the principal, came to try to kill the teacher, and the dad says he was weaponized like a heat-seeking missile.
Right. I wrote that down as well. Great minds think alike, I guess.
Oh, nice. And so the teacher, he shares his map when he saves her from Marcus, they kind of bond over that. And he shows her the map he's been working on, and the teacher helps him know that that's Alex's house.
Right. A little bit before, I'd like to go back a little bit before.
Okay.
When you see the teacher hit Justine Jumper and Archer kind of come to her defense and try to correct her, you see, or help her rather, you see basically a car chase. Justine ends up getting in her car, runs off in her car. Marcus just sprinting after her, and Archer following his car. And Marcus gets plowed over unexpectedly in an intersection and dies, and his body looks pretty bad, right? His head is
It
like
does. It
totally
was,
smashed. Yeah. More than I think would normally actually happen, perhaps.
yeah,
Perhaps not. I don't
we
know.
start to get into the territory, in some of Tarantino's movies, it's the gore is so crazy that then it's funny and it doesn't have like that impact
Impact.
of
Yeah.
a real human death. It's more like, oh, blood spurting and hitting the ceiling kind of. So it was pretty, yeah, his head was pretty gross looking.
His head was pretty gross looking. Also, her run through the gas station, it was kind of filmed in the same way as her walk through the liquor store in a way. It's like her point of view, and then the camera's behind her, chasing her through, and then that woman kind of stalking her in the liquor store
At
from
first,
before.
I didn't even realize it was a different place.
Right, exactly. So it really ranks some similarities there. But yeah, it ends with her and Archer teaming up. And when he shows the map to her, he's like, where do you think this is? And she's like, that's Alex's house. So that's where we need to go, Alex's house.
So it turns out you should have been looking at that little kid who was the only little kid that.
Yeah, I think it would be the first thing the police would do would be looking at the teacher. They would look at the teacher, absolutely, and look at Alex. And also, let's trace and see where these kids went. And oh, isn't that interesting? They seem to go to Alex's house. So, yeah, I feel like the police could have figured this out sooner. But hey, maybe they're inept. Yeah,
Maybe you don't get that breakthrough.
right. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big hole there is you're sitting in front of these parents quickly.
Yes, quickly.
I
Yes,
mean,
all of them. Yeah.
and yeah. Okay. So now the last chapter, which kind of bleeds into the end. I mean, I don't know if I can pick out the moment. Alex is the kid.
Right. Yeah, it
I
bleeds.
don't
I
know
would
if I can
agree.
pick that moment. Yeah, where
Just like it does in the beginning of the movie, right?
totally.
It kind of bleeds, and so
Well,
the end is going to bleed too.
except for we get a title card that has her name
Right. Yeah.
on it, and we don't get that.
Okay, so we have Alex the kid, and what's the first thing we see? He's sitting in class with all his little classmates. Everybody's there. The teacher's talking, and what does she talk about? She's talking about a parasite, which made me think, how old are these kids? Or no, she's talking about a tapeworm, which is kind of a parasite, right? Or eats your.
I think it's a parasite.
She says it lives in your intestines and eats your food. That's what she says. And the first time I watched this, I did not even pay attention to what she was talking
So
about.
they are, so he is hammering at us pretty hard.
Right, he's hearing us pretty hard. The second time I did catch it, was like, oh, well, yeah, because it even seemed like a weird thing to be talking to the kids about, a tapeworm. Maybe not. I don't know. Um, she seemed like a general education third grade teacher. What's she doing teaching advanced science? I don't know. And he's bullied. I don't even know if that bully part's important to me. Why are we focusing so
All
much
it
on that he's
does is
bullied?
make the kid a tiny bit less you empathize for him a little less.
I guess, and you think he's isolated and he can't talk to anybody, I guess. Yeah.
Right. I think Gladys is coming. She's a family member. Dad says he's going to pick him up. Dad doesn't show up. He has to walk home. He gets home. His parents are in a trance. He tries to figure out what's wrong with him. He's sent to his room without dinner.
Right. He sees Gladys the night before. She comes really late.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that she's extremely fragile. She's hanging on to the dad's arm to even walk in the house.
She looks
When
it.
Alex wakes up, yeah, she looks it. When Alex wakes up in the morning and peers through her door, he sees her laying in bed, and her body, her head and her face look not even like they could be alive, old. She looks so old that it
She
doesn't
looks
seem
late
right.
stage, skinny cancer
Dying of some
with
horrible thing.
sores
Yeah.
on her body. Yep.
Right. So she's extremely weak. Also, I wanted to mention that house seemed like a real house to me, didn't it? It was really good set, I think. In the darkness in the house, it's like, I feel like I've been in houses growing up and they were always like kind of dark and like, oh, this is so quiet and
It
dark in
has a
here.
it had a lived in
Had a lived in feeling to
floppy
it. Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that sometimes houses don't.
Right. So when he walks home and he finds her looking better, right? She's looking slightly better, but she looks crazy still. She has her little clown wig on and her makeup, but she's not frail. She's walking around. And his parents are zombies, even though you don't want to use that word. They look like zombies. Um, and she basically threatens him. She says, hey, if you don't do the things if you don't keep quiet, right? Which number one, if you don't keep quiet, I'm going to hurt your parents, right? I can make them, she makes them stab themselves in the face, which of course upsets him. You
That's
know, he can,
that was crazy.
right. So he knows that she
She says
controls his
I can make
parents.
them eat each other if I
Yeah,
want.
I can make them eat each other, which,
That's it.
yeah. How does a
So
kid even comprehend what
you
you're
don't
saying?
even
Yeah.
need you don't need you're totally sold on that kid's not telling anybody anything no matter what.
Right, exactly. Yes. Kids can be really quiet and if they need to be, right? They can do exactly what they're told if they're scared enough.
So one thing that comes out in here that I was very empathetic for is this kid has to feed his parents soup.
Right. He has to feed them soup. Why soup? I've seen theories that, hey, it's like it's chicken soup. That's what you feed sick people. Um, why does it have to be soup? I think it has to be that has to be kind of the answer they put up with. Or maybe she thinks it's easier for the kid to make. And he has to go buy the soup. He
It
makes
goes
the
down
soup. He
if you're not
feeds,
chewing, right?
right, he
Let me ask
feeds
you
the
this.
soup to the parents.
I think our best chance, maybe our only chance. So there's two things. She kind of hypnotizes people and puts them in the trance, and then she activates them. I get how she activates them because she breaks the stick. She rings the. But so how do you think the hypnosis works? And then I'll take a shot at it if you don't say what I'm going to say.
I think I think for some way she must give them a goal. And it seems like the goal is done mentally or in the twig somehow.
But when they're sitting,
This is what you're going to be activated to do. And then she kind of stops them by dropping it in the water. But once they're activated, they're kind of stuck in that zombie state. She drops in the water, so they stop what they're activated for, but they don't go back to being normal. They're in their zombie state, and they're going to be in that zombie state. Basically, we find out later until she dies, right?
it seems like
The magic work? I don't know. It's magic. It really doesn't work
it
in
seems like
life.
they it seems like some of the main things are um, I have something of yours. I have my sharp twig. I cut myself with it. I roll my blood in your object on the twig, and I need a bowl of water. And that seems to be the hypnotizing trance part.
I guess so.
But
It seems like something that you see in books and stuff all the
because
time. Magicians, witches,
that happens right
they
in
need
front of
something of you, right?
it happens right in front of us, in front of when she does it to Marcus and his partner. That's the only time we get to see somebody go into a trance. And it makes sense that like as someone who wrote a book, A Viking on the Subway with some supernatural in it, as the writer, you're like thinking, now how does this magic work? And do I have to
Right.
really nail down? And if I can have these people mostly be put in trances off camera, not in the scene, then that helps me a little bit.
Right. She does activate the parents once by doing it, right? Didn't she have it in her hands then
The
too?
activating is always almost
When they
always
stab their face.
yeah. So the breaking of the
Yeah.
stick, they show us that a lot. They don't. We don't get to see like the cop went in the house and now he's in a super. We don't get
Right,
that.
right. We
That's what
don't, yeah,
we
we
only
see
get
it.
to see it with Marcus. Um, okay, so we finally get to see how all the kids arrive at the house.
Right. All the kids arrive at the house. She explains to the boy, I thought your parents were going to make me get better, but they didn't. And he's like, how can I help?
Alex is
Or
now
what can I
feeding
do to save?
Alex is now feeding 19 people a day soup.
Right. He's feeding night. We
He
see him go grab all the little name
he
tags
feeds
off the
19
thing.
people a day soup for over 30 days.
Right. We see him go to the store, buy more soup. We see Justine interact with him briefly at the school when he's stealing the name cards, and she seems like a concerned teacher, right? She seems like a decent teacher. So we see him kind of survive on his own. He's being quiet. People are like, hey, Alex, are you okay? So he's like trying to survive. But then comes then we realize the cop has come in the house, right? That's kind of what triggers everything. Or CPS. Well, CPS comes too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not CPS, but the police. Yeah.
I think the teacher and Josh Brolin, Julia Garner and Josh Brolin, to say the actors' names, they figured out it's the house. They sit outside the house. The cop car is there. She knows it's Paul. And the witch, Gladys, says, we're leaving in the morning.
Right. The Gladys got to get out of there. She realizes the police are involved. This is bad. She realizes people are watching outside the house. We all assume this. We don't actually see it. And Paul comes to the house and gives a little wave to Justine. Hey, come in, right? Come in, you guys.
So this is a super duper tension scene when they go in the house.
Right. Would you go in, or I say, Paul, what's going on? You know, I'm not sure I want to go in this
Well,
house.
I
You're
mean,
a
the
police
tough part
officer.
is this is my ex-boyfriend
Right.
who I just hooked up with, and he's like, come in here. I mean, I probably trust that person to
I
go.
guess I'm saying, yeah, it would be weird though.
Yeah. And it's not great. So the setup in the house, so we got kids in the basement. We've got the addict is in there hypnotized, the police officer's hypnotized. We've got a new development in witch power. She's got salt around the house, and if you step over the salt, it's go time.
Right. The salt is like a warning, right? Like you cross this line, stuff's happening. I assume she's like rejuvenating in her room or something, or she ends up being down in the basement. Is she down in the basement the whole
It is,
time?
I think we're on pretty shaky ground here, magic wise.
We don't know where she is. Yeah.
She's
Is she in? To me, it was like I assumed she was in the room until I saw that she was in the
Yeah,
basement.
she's in the
So to me,
basement
the question
with the
is, was she
kids.
there the whole time? Yeah.
Right. Did she move down
So
to
the kids shouldn't cross over the salt. But hey, here comes teacher. Here comes Archer, Archer and Justine, and they both promptly step over the salt. Both of them. She steps over the police officer's salt because she goes to him, and Archer steps into James, the drug addict's salt. So those guys are activated, right? They're trying to kill them. And we see upstairs, Alex also crosses the salt. I guess he's like thinking about his parents and wants to see his parents. So he crosses the salt in front of Gladys's bedroom.
he steps over it on purpose, right in front of them, knowing they will chase him. I don't get what his plan is there. It doesn't,
Maybe the kid is super smart and does have the plan. I'm going to get in there and reverse it because
but if he
he
has
realizes how to do it.
he doesn't even need them activated. He could have done what he did without activating them. I don't get why
He couldn't have gotten the room, though, I don't think,
couldn't have gotten in what room?
with the twigs.
Hmm.
He has to get in her bedroom, and her bedroom has that tree with the twigs.
And
And her
they're right
bedroom
in
was
front of
being
it,
guarded by his parents.
and they're
Mhm.
right in front of it. Okay, so does he go?
Yeah, they're like guarding the door.
So maybe he goes in a circle and gets back in there. That's how he gets in there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's
Okay,
like a Jack and Jill
all right.
bathroom situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all. I could not understand. He obviously activated them on purpose. Okay. Um, woo.
Some good comedic elements with Archer and James fight. Archer basically keeps throwing James. James
Oh
will
yeah.
pop up. He throws him again, so that's pretty good. Justine has a pretty rugged fight with Paul. They end up in the kitchen. He's choking her. Justine, got to give her some real props here. Survival skills, right?
To me,
Um,
right. To me, that was a big hole. Is like she would have been dead. The first of all, she's able to
I
be
will say, first off, though, choking actually takes a pretty long time.
okay.
I've
Well,
heard
then that
that.
makes sense because this choking took forever.
Choking is pretty hard to do, and it gives it's a lot of effort on.
Why do you
This is
know
what I
that?
hear. I don't really know. Yeah.
I didn't look that up.
One of the worst things, right, was she grabbed a peeler, a vegetable peeler, scraped his face with it twice, real slow. You knew that had to hurt, but of course he didn't even
Shaved the
phase him.
skin off his face twice. So,
Right.
so Josh Brolin is fighting the addict. She's fighting her ex-boyfriend. The kid is fighting the parents. Josh Brolin is able to take the addict. I don't know if he hears noises, the door's open, whatever, and then he goes down and he finds all the kids down there.
Right. Well, a couple things happened before, though,
Well,
right?
with your pacing, this is a 4-hour podcast, but go ahead.
Okay, I'll just say this. I thought it was pretty badass. Justine grabs the guy's gun because she is
Mm.
fighting a police officer, shoots him right under the chin. Pretty badass. I had problems shooting a gun just straight ahead of me because it was scary, let alone shooting someone's head
Yep.
off in front of me. And then doing a make sure you're dead kill to the temple of his head, shooting him twice in the head. That's pretty ballsy. I
So
thought. Pretty good job.
one of the things that Zombieland does in the opening scene that lays out the rules for survival, and one of them is double tap on the gun every time. Two shots.
Well, there you go, two shots.
So
So
double tap.
then Archer is being choked by the drug addict in front of the basement door. Justine comes and shoots the drug
Oh,
addict and
right.
saves Archer's life.
That's
Archer has seen the kids, though, out of the corner of his eye
now
and
they're even.
immediately runs down there.
Now they're even. They've each saved each other's
Now
lives.
they're even,
Now,
and
what I forgot from the first sight is the witch gets Josh Brolin.
right. So he goes down, and that's when we see, oh, and he's looking frantically at the children. Matthew, that's his kid's name. Matthew.
I think
He's
it's
No,
okay.
it's definitely Matthew. I can hear him saying it now. Matthew, he's looking for his son. He finally finds him, but then out pops out our favorite little clown witch, Gladys, little scary little head pops up. And I guess the whole time she's been maybe gathering her strength with her people down there, her kids down there. So she does the little spell on Archer. Archer goes up, attacks our teacher, who thought, "Woo, she was over all this problems," but he comes back. I don't remember how she gets. Oh, okay. We have to go back up to Alex, right? So Alex is upstairs with his parents coming through, but what's he doing? He's recreating uh, the whole thing with a piece of her wig
So he's
hair.
watched her do it enough now that he gets all the
Thinks he knows what he's
kids to go
doing.
after the witch. And
And as his parents are trying to break through the door, he does it. And what has he done? He's activated all the zombies, basically, right? Especially
he's
the kids.
activated all the kid to use the terms of the movie. He's weaponized the 17 kids to kill Gladys. And I think it might be the best moment in the movie when they come, it's like a herd of antelope that comes running up the stairs and she hears it and she's like, "Oh no."
She's like, oh no, because she's out in the kitchen saying, yes, Archer, kill Justine. That's right. Kill her, kill her, kill her. He stops suddenly. And then she's like, uh-oh. And she hears the kids coming. She runs, sprints out the door.
Yeah,
So Archer doesn't
yeah,
try to. So, right. The funny
he
thing is that really doesn't work. Archer just snaps out of it and he's fine.
yeah.
And the parents snap out of it, but they're still zombies, which, okay, you could say, well, they've done it a much longer time. But why weren't they activated?
Archer didn't snap out of it right there. Archer doesn't snap out of it until the witch is dead.
Oh, so he just chases the kids, but he's chasing the
He
kids. He stops choking her, though, Bill.
No, he
He
doesn't.
stops trying to kill her.
I'll take your apology next week. Uh,
Okay, well, say the whole thing.
um, here's what happened. So, the kids are weaponized. He continues to choke her. Um, the This is where the kids. I mean, it doesn't seem like it comes with supernatural strength. It definitely comes with no pain. They aren't like super strength zombies, but they do things like they chase the witch through houses, they jump through windows, they knock down doors, they knock over gates. And when they catch her, and I hope I don't skip anything you like too much here, they rip her body apart, including tearing her head off.
Right, they rip her body apart. The only thing I would say is also one of the funnier scenes, right? These kids barreling through houses, the people in the houses' reactions. That's a pretty funny scenes, I thought, and it kind of softens the fact that these kids are actually just going to rip apart this old witch's body,
Because
right?
I'm torn here between I mostly land on who would ever let their 8-year-old kid be in this movie. However,
Right, sure.
however, I can't imagine a lot of kids really getting a kick out of ripping apart
Right.
a
Run as
fake
fast as you can, and here's a fake little thing, and just rip it apart. They
you
would be enjoying
and
it.
you're
Yeah.
covered with all this fake blood. So,
Right,
but
you're
I can
covered in
also
blood.
see how that part is fake enough um,
Not
that
to be
maybe it's not,
overly disturbing.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it that much more disturbing than playing Fortnite where you're stalking
Right,
people and
exactly.
killing them?
Yeah.
But the stabbing to play the star kid would be a lot.
Right, it'd be a lot, yeah. There was one POV with the one of the kids and the camera was at the back, and I thought that's definitely like a really short woman doing that stuff,
Yeah.
jumping through the
So
doors and so
the
forth.
he stops. This is another spot where it's unrealistic. He stops strangling her when the
When
witch's
she
head
dies, is
is
that what you're saying?
ripped
Okay.
off, and then he follows the path of destruction to find his boy.
Okay, well, I'd agree that's a really long strangle then.
Yeah.
That's probably too
Josh
long, yeah.
Brolin could kill her
Could kill her quicker than that. I
in the
agree.
3 minutes or whatever it took him to catch her. So the last sentence of the film, even though you may want to back up, the last sentence of the film is we hear from this little girl again, and she says some of the kids even started talking last year.
Right, so they didn't snap really out of it, but the mystery was solved, I guess.
What you said, I agree with. Brolin was only under the spell for 5 minutes, so he snapped out of it. The other people were under the spell for a month, so they're coming out of it slower.
Right, the parents are taken care of by Alex's parents are being taken care of like in homes, it sounded like, and other people are feeding them. And Alex himself is being taken care of by a good aunt, a much better aunt on the other side, I guess.
So I got some questions for you now about the movie. What happens to the kids as the movie goes forward?
They just sit as little zombies and their energy is drained as they sit in the basement.
I think no, no, no. I mean, the movie's over in the next 5 years,
Oh, I see.
10 years.
Well, they're not at their top of their game.
I feel like they're on the
They're having
slope.
some trouble. They might be able to recover quicker just because they're children. I guess I would give them that.
Yeah, because we are told that somebody else still has to feed the kids' parents soup, but it's not the kid.
Right.
Even though I,
Also, the kids, if the kids have no memory of it, that would be better too.
how many deaths do you have in this movie?
How many desks?
Yeah, deaths.
Oh,
How many
deaths. I
people
was like, how
passed
many
away?
desks
Yeah,
in the I don't know, 10, 5.
yeah.
Not a lot,
I
right?
only have three.
Yeah. The
Marcus.
cop, the James, Marcus's partner, that's 4.
Oh wait, I'm missing some. Oh no, I have that. Marcus and his partner died. That's two. Um, Julia shoots Paul, the cop. That's three. Um, is the
She shoots James, the drug addict. That's
okay?
4.
So that's four, and then the witch gets her head ripped off. That's five. So five
Oh,
deaths.
that's 5. You count the witch,
Isn't
yeah.
that what you said at first? No, well, you went
I
10.
said,
Yeah.
yeah, I guessed, yeah.
All right. So
Not
make
a high body count.
do you think Paul should have stayed with the teacher, the cop? I mean, were they a better couple or
I think Paul probably should get on his own, work on his sobriety, stop working for his father-in-law. It's obviously really hurting his self-esteem. It's not good for him to be working for his father-in-law.
Hmm.
Um, just get out of the whole situation. He shouldn't be with his wife because she was very off-putting to me. But you shouldn't be with the teacher as well because she's a fellow addict and she's got some problems too. So I think Paul needs to work on himself. He doesn't need to be in a romantic relationship right now.
he should have been free?
He should have been free. Yeah.
Because just like superficially, I think I would have been more attracted to the teacher than the lady who was at the conference.
Sure. I have no idea.
Because
Neither one.
it was hard for me to believe. Now, the teacher was a lot. It was hard for me to believe that Paul had broken up with her.
The teacher was dominating, right? He was the non-dominant person in that relationship
She,
for
I guess,
sure.
was
And so the
drinking a lot.
guy who played Paul is, of course, the guy who played Han Solo in the new Solo
I
movies.
read that. I've never seen any of those.
They're not great. They're not
Yeah.
great. Disappointing.
So at first I thought with six overlapping storylines, boy, they had to get a lot right. I was like, man, it would be hard to shoot this with all the details right. But then I thought they probably just turned everything around the other way and shot it again, right?
Right, exactly. They're not
So
going
it
to go to the
actually
same
wasn't that hard because it
scene
just
twice.
happened. Everybody, it was within
Right.
probably a day or two of when they'd
Well, as
shot
long
it.
as you got it worked out in the script perfectly, then you
Yeah.
just go by it.
So
Yeah.
it actually
They
probably
don't shoot things in
wasn't,
sequence at all.
it probably wasn't that hard.
No. And I think matching is a normal part of movie, right?
What do
Movie
you think?
filming.
What are the payoffs for this film? You wanted me to go see it. Why did you want me to see it?
because it was a good movie that entertained me, made me laugh, made me wonder what was going to happen, made me think, resolved the story, I thought, pretty satisfactorily.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're kind of disappointed by the ending. I wasn't disappointed by the ending. It was a clever movie to me, so I enjoyed it.
I think for me, one of the top payoffs was that Gladys gets it in the end.
Right. The bad guy, the
Great.
bad person gets
It was extremely suspenseful.
it was very suspenseful. Had a couple even jump scares, right?
Often, for sure. Often the suspense didn't pay off much, but they made me nervous for 10 minutes and then a little something happened. I didn't find it as, this, of course, the second time around, I was able to like pay attention more. I was so like holding my breath the first time I watched this.
Right. Well, I mean, how many jump scares in a horror movie don't pay off? It's like, oh, I'm just joking, you know. They do that all the time.
And
So it's
I agree that funny is a payoff. And then the structure, there's just so much to think about in the way the movie was organized, makes it worth it.
right. It makes you try to piece things together, makes you think about the movie after you leave, which you don't think about every movie after you leave. So good for that.
So on the social issues, what did this film say about addiction?
To me, it said addiction takes over your life, right? It's like your sole focus in life. We had that from James. All he cared about was getting his next fix. They kind of illustrated that by saying all these kids, everybody who the witch activates, they have a sole purpose in life, and that's all they care about. And they don't care
Hmm.
about anything
Point. That's a
else.
good addition.
So I guess that's what I'm saying about addiction. Addiction is a destroyer of life. You could almost say that.
And I think you might be hesitant to say this film addresses gun violence. Would you say it does? And if
I
so,
don't think it does, and that's why I thought like the gun in the sky. There, at one point, Archer looks up in his dream, I guess, and there's a gun above his house. So no, I don't think it touches on gun violence too much. But you can also think, well, it's talking about the grief of a community and how does the community move on after 17 children are gone. And we only really think about 17 children being gone with things like Sandy Hook and stuff, mass shootings. Suddenly,
yeah. So
overnight, a bunch of people are gone.
I think it's the ineptitude and the flawed way that the community finds a way to deal with the absence suddenly of 17 kids. So the grief that's portrayed in the film is the same kind of confusion and like what just happened, grief of the loss of 17 kids. And then you just can't get around the fact that he put a gun the size of a car above a house and put the time 217 on it. So he couldn't, when you talk about like hit him in the head with your symbolism, you just couldn't, it was obviously speaking to that. I mean, the only thing he could have done more was put the giant words, the 17 kids symbolize kids lost through gun violence. Like you
Right,
could have put
yeah.
that text on the screen and that would have been about the only more
Right. It didn't really play off very well to me. When
yeah.
I saw it, it was like, what? Why is there a big gun up there?
All right. Do you have any? I have a section of, I'm almost done. I have a section of um, not quite right, problems. Did you have any more? Maybe I should name a couple.
I think we discussed a lot, all the ones I really had.
So,
Number one, to me, would be the poor investigation of the police.
yeah. Um, a teacher does not come to class when she comes to class.
What do you mean? She's there first,
The
yeah.
school is full of kids.
Right.
All the classrooms are full of kids. She expects to walk in the class with every desk filled. That's not when the teacher comes.
Right, yeah. Especially
Teacher is
for
a
kids at this
well,
time. Teachers are sitting in the class or staying at the
I
door. Yeah.
yeah, when I was advanced high school, I mean, I'm at the room at 6:45 a.m. and kids are getting off the bus and I'm already there and
Now, I will say sometimes professors come to a class like that.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have I sat in a class and here comes a professor 5 minutes late? Yeah,
Mm.
all the time.
Not me.
Well, that's good to hear.
I start a minute or two early. I say, let's give you a little bonus free education.
Oh, I'm sure they're very enthusiastic.
What the narrator says the kids walked out of the houses. They didn't walk out of the houses.
They ran out of
They
houses.
ran like airplanes.
Air with a triangle. I've heard people talk about the triangle symbolism, which I wouldn't get, but apparently the triangle is big in Alcoholics Anonymous in recovery. The
There's some kind
triangle,
of like, yeah, female evil thing that I
and
know.
they make a triangle kind of with their hands if you connected with the line at the bottom, and then there was a triangle in the logo of weapons too. It like goes in
And
a
it really
circle,
is prominently displayed in the credits, the triangle.
right? But the triangle really goes over my head personally.
I did not engage with the triangle much. So this goes into the police investigation. Early, the principal says investigators ransacked the house. No way.
Ransacked what house? Alex's
That,
house?
yes.
Oh, they
I,
searched it. I don't think
they went over, but
ransacking
if
is.
you ransacked
Yeah,
it, you would go in the basement.
right. That's no. Remember, all the kids got out. She activated and had them hide in the woods or something.
Oh, I missed all of
Yeah, and they all
that.
ran out of the house.
Wow, I watched it twice and didn't see that.
And then and they all straightened up the house. He cleaned the
I remember that
house.
part.
Yeah, so
Okay,
it was
all
right
right, I
before
take
that.
it
Yeah,
back.
she got the kids out.
Hey,
Um,
Zach, apology.
yeah, so
You
they could have
nailed that.
searched and not really seen anything. Now, how could nobody see 17 kids leaving a house in the middle of the day, hiding in woods or something? That
They're
might
all
be a
missing.
little, yeah.
All right. I think okay, I might be finished. Symbols, we kind of went over. So there's 17 kids, 217 is the time. Uh the assault rifle around the house, 217. We already covered that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
All right,
Those kind of symbols always go over me, but
do you
yeah.
want to say your scariest moment or two?
Oh yeah, I wrote down that I think to me the best one was what I described earlier. The teacher sitting in the dark and a crazy person zombie comes out of the house silently. The silence makes it scarier, and then enters the car door and cuts her hair. I think that's the scariest part.
I think for me, it was when the dad is dreaming. He's talking to his son. Where did you go? Where did you go? He's filled with regret that he never told him he loved him. And then there's a loud screeching noise, and the boy's face changes to the witch's face. That I got me.
Yeah, and that also got a big laugh because what did he say when he woke up? He screams, "What the, WTF?"
Mm,
Which is pretty funny because it seemed really realistic that he might scream that.
yeah.
Everybody in the theater laughed big time for that one.
And then a very small observation. Ring cameras played a big role in this movie.
Yeah, they did, right? I think even more people, I guess it depends on the city. Like if this happened in LA, there would be tons of Ring cameras that would pick this up, right?
So,
Here it was like half the kids had
and
Ring or
like Ring
something.
cameras, pretty big role in catching the Charlie Kirk shooter.
Right, yeah.
People have,
As you walk through the
I
street, yeah.
never thought about, I mean, I guess people have security cameras and people, we don't. We have a dog that sounds like she's going to eat you if you're out there.
I have a security camera.
Yeah. And do you look at it and see stuff?
I get an alert every time it films something and I open it up and I delete it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
but
so
yeah, a lot
they
of
played a
people
role.
have it. Yeah. So,
All
and
right,
I
man.
did know they solve a lot of crimes that way because if you watch any true crime story, they'll be like, we traced the cameras. This is the route the car took.
Not my genre. And what's your week look like?
Week looks fine. Week's normal. It's Halloween week. It means nothing to me.
Nothing at the
Uh,
office for Halloween?
we do have some kind of Halloween pumpkin carving on Thursday, which I elected not to participate. It just has gotten too hard. I just don't want to be involved in it. I'm not good at it. But I'll probably have some snacks, I guess. So that's my week. No one will come to my door on Friday, for sure.
Yeah, right. We had and tryouts this week.
Oh, congrats. Got through
This
that?
this is the way it works in North Carolina. This is pretty tough. Tryouts on Wednesday and Thursday. First practice with the selected team on Friday. Saturday, get up and leave school at 8:30 to play 3 scrimmage games in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
3 days of practice. Got to get the ball in bounds. Got to be
Right.
press. Got to attack whatever weird defense anybody plays. It all has to do with college exposure and having these events when people could come before game starts. But it's a jump start
So
to
this didn't happen already. This is going to happen this week. That's
it's
what you're
coming
saying.
up this week. So
Okay. I listened wrong.
and then the next week we do that again on Saturday. So 6 days loaded up with basketball coming up in a row.
It all begins, and so it begins.
And so it begins. A little less prep for the pod, maybe, perhaps.
A little less prep, perhaps.
And good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds. Go ahead.
But what we found out is that each one of us is a brain and an athlete
And a basket case. A princess.
and a criminal. Does that answer your question?
I love you guys.